evening. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Tammy Talk Show. We're coming on today with the second part to what we was talking about on Thursday. We hope you enjoy it. It is, the topic that we're going to be talking about is coronavirus, facts versus fiction. And we really enjoyed it on Thursday. We had people that was talking with us while we was live. So we want to continue the conversation. Again, I have my family here with me. We are the stewards, and we are going to sit and we're going to chat with you concerning the facts versus the fiction concerning the coronavirus. And also, I have another part to the conversation that we're going to be talking about on this evening. So we thank you all for joining us. I'm going to wait and see when some more people come on. I'm going to give you a chance to come on and chat with us, and let's have some conversation. We want to make it exciting and inviting, and if you have any questions, put up your questions. We're going to read the questions off, and we're going to talk about it, and we're going to discuss it. We're going to talk about it with the people that are listening. We're going to talk about them on each other. Just want to hear your opinion, what you're thinking about this coronavirus. I know in our area, in Georgia, they say it's going up. And I know one of the reasons why it might be going up because we open, and I think personally, just my opinion might not amount to anything, but to my opinion, I think we opened up too early. We didn't do the necessary things that we needed to do to make sure that the people that are in our community in Georgia would be safe. So we're going to open up the conversation to you on tonight, and we just want to share, and we hope you enjoy it. At this time, I want for you to just share it, share it, share it. If you got a friend that you want to hear it, come on, open it up. We're just going to open the conversation to everybody that is listening. I don't care if they're in California, they can be in Georgia, they can be in Florida, they can be in New York. We want to share the conversation because I know that a lot of people are interested in what's going on in the world today. I know I am. I want to know what I'm out there in. I want to know where I'm going, and a lot of people still, they're going out to dinner and all this kind of stuff, and you want to make sure that you're safe, that you're not bringing anything back home to your children or to your family. I just heard on the news over the weekend how our president, how he went out there and was talking with the people, and they didn't have on their mask and different things, but maybe some of them don't prefer to wear their mask, but I prefer to wear one. And I do believe that if we did, enough people did that, at least you would keep some of the virus down. It won't be so widespread. So tonight we're just going to enjoy the conversation. I want to start off with one of my questions that I have today. Let me see who else coming on. I want to make sure we got some people on and listening. And we'll take, my husband asked me when we're taking calls. I have a phone here that if anybody want to call in, I will give you the number and we'll put it on live so the people that are listening can hear you ask the question or respond to a question.
Call us.
Yes, we want to keep it live and good. He scared me right there. I jumped a little bit. I know y'all seen it. I didn't know what was happening right then and there.
She a little nervous.
You can voice call through Messenger too. If,
yes.
That's a little bit easier for you.
Right. You can do that also. Hold this for me for just a minute. I have a question here that I would like to ask the people to start it off.
You gotta give them a number.
We're going to give you a number. Those of you that want to do it that way by messenger or by phone, just put it up there and say, I want the number, give me the number, and then we'll put the number up. So right now, the first question I want to ask is this a fact or fiction? Avoiding the hospital and emergency room, do it reduce the risk of catching the virus? Is that a fact or fiction?
Don't know.
Anybody have the answer?
Well, I think not going around anybody, period, going to reduce the risk of catching the virus.
Right. But this is what is stating right here in the CDC is saying. They said, you know, even though there is a virus and people are in the hospital with the virus, but when you come into the emergency room, even though it's a pandemic that is going on, you have an emergency, you need to still go to the emergency room. And when you get to the emergency room, they will have you in an area where you are secure and you won't catch what the other people have it in the emergency room, because you may be having a heart attack, you may be having a stroke, you may be having a real emergency. So if you're having that real emergency, call 911 and go straight to the emergency room. They will make sure that they will take care of you and have you in a secure area. So going to the emergency room, it's not a fact that you're going to catch the virus. The fact is they're going to take care of you because they have themselves together where they'll be able to take care of you. That's a good one right there. Okay, anybody else have anything they want to say around the table? Let's get started.
I hate Corona.
I do too. I thank God that I haven't ran into it yet. Not yet, but we got to do what we need to do to protect ourselves. You cannot avoid taking care of yourself because you don't want to catch it. You may not have it. You may not know anybody else that have had it. But somebody has had it and some people have died from it. So we do need to be careful out there. If we have any more around the table, would like to say something, Torres?
Something I'd like to bring up was that something we talked about on Thursday about how exercising you may not need to wear your mask, or the site says you may not have to wear your mask. Mm-hmm. And on the news recently they said that too. Actually today.
Yeah, they're late. We got to it first.
Yeah, we got to it first.
You heard it here live first at the Tammy Talk Show. Okay, go ahead.
But the reason for that is that when your body has like a natural, of course it has an immune system.
Yes.
But one of the defense systems it has against like bacteria and viruses and stuff is your sweat. So when you sweat, your body secretes chemicals and such that are able to kill viruses and bacteria that are on your body and kind of get rid of it. Also, in addition to dead skin and all that stuff too. But your sweat is one of the ways in which your body fights off anything that's on the outside. And usually when people get the flu or they get sick, their body temperature rises, but they feel cold. Mm-hmm. That's because their body is increasing the temperature so that it can kill the virus, or it's fighting the virus, and that's kind of like an effect that your body has. Your body temperature goes up because it's trying to fight what's going on the inside. Right, so it'll also sweat and release what's going on the inside through your pores, through your sweat. So basically your body sweating, which is something that will happen during physical activity, is a way in which it gets rid of bacteria that's already inside and bacteria that's on the outside too. So yeah.
Okay.
All right. That's it.
Yes.
Say that again.
Our unofficial doctor, Torres
Right.
Stewart.
Yes. Do we have any more questions? Do we have any questions on there? Not yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Okay, I'll have something else. All right. Can the coronavirus be transmitted through mail? Through the mail?
Through the mail. I don't know. Depends on how wet the mail is.
Read right there.
Experts are still learning how the new coronavirus spreads. Do I sound like I can make it to CNN? Let me try it again. Experts are still learning. Oh, no, sorry. How the new coronavirus spreads.
Yeah.
But it's believed that the virus primarily spreads person to person through infectious respiratory droplets. I'm Tony Stewart. This is the Tammy Talk Show. Back to you, Tammy.
So it's not a known fact. They are still looking into that, but they know that it's the only way it can be spread is through your respiratory droplets. So if I'm sitting at a table with someone and I don't know if they got it and we're talking, can I get it that way?
Or I would say if somebody,
Go ahead.
I would say like if somebody sneezed or coughed,
Mhm.
like basically by the time you notice they sneezed or coughed, it's already on you.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how fast a sneeze
Yeah,
happens.
yeah.
It's basically
Right.
like a human bullet. It's like two already.
No,
The screen is
Thank
wet
you.
already.
Already?
Like we can wipe that off and we're done. But like you already like have the droplets on your body.
Yeah.
So you know if your body isn't able to get or kill the virus before it really gets inside and really
Mhm.
infects you, then it's too bad.
It's
Okay.
yes, yes. Here's another question. We can fix me right now.
Drinking alcohol does not protect you against COVID-19 and can be dangerous. The harmful use of alcohol increases your risk of health problems. How much time? How much? Okay, all right.
So is that a fact or fiction?
Fact or fiction? I don't know. I was too busy reading.
That
to
is
get
a fact.
comprehension.
That it cannot protect you
Oh no.
from getting COVID-19. Just drinking alcohol, because there's so many people that are putting things out there saying that it can prevent you from getting it. But looking at the CDC and seeing the information, I was looking at how certain things that people are putting out is not the truth, and we need to know the truth about this disease so we can protect ourselves and protect our loved ones and protect the people that are around us. So that is one thing that
I have
I
breaking
seen.
news.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
Uh-huh.
We have breaking news.
Yes.
I see lovely Barksdale on the Tammy Talk Show.
Yay!
Oh, this is breaking news. All right.
She-
So good. We got a nurse on.
We got a nurse
Jessica.
on,
We got
yeah.
Lovely. Got
Yeah.
a Southern nurse and a New York nurse. All right, we got it. We ready now.
We got one nurse from New York and a nurse from Georgia.
What's happening?
So you all come on and share your information with us to help us out. Even the information about, working in that area, and when people don't really know what you all are going through and the stress and the pressure that you all are under working in that environment, so we can help you all be safe by us doing the right thing, by protecting ourselves so we don't have to come into the hospital. So you all can just share the information with us on today. Yes. Do you have anything you'd like to say, hon?
We have lovely Barksdale on the Tammy Talk Show.
Yay.
Oh, okay. I just had a hey.
We're
All right.
so glad to see you all join us.
We
Yes.
also have Tamara Stewart. He's with us today.
Yes.
Oh.
He's always at the table, but always
We're
quiet
gonna get him. He's got his referee shirt on. We're gonna get him to say something.
on tonight.
He'll be our caller. So listen, this is what I gotta say. You got some more questions or no?
Go ahead. I got some more questions, but go ahead.
Now that we've got that out the way, I want you to chime in, put a comment, let me know, because honestly, we get to the down and the dirty of the coronavirus.
Yeah.
This is past exhausting. Sure, y'all all been there.
Yes.
What are you guys doing at home to entertain yourselves or come up with ways to keep from being bored all day long? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Because I don't run out of options. So I want to hear some comments. If you want to call in, you can call in. There's a number on the screen in the comment section, or you can go to Tamara Stewart's Facebook Messenger and do an audio call. We'll have you right on here live.
Yes.
So we want to know what it is that you all are doing to stay occupied, because I'm too
Yes.
big to jump rope. I don't do that no more. The hula hoop, that ain't working. Somebody help me here.
Yes.
Oh,
And
okay.
Jax, I can't get on the ground and play Jax.
So Nate Crawford says cooking.
Yes, that's a good
Since
one.
he's become this great chef on y'all might need to go to his page just to see some of his little food constructions that he's doing
It
here.
looks delicious.
I don't know why he got to try to make like he professional or something, but that's all right. Nah, I'm just kidding. Dave. That's my brother. He do have that stuff be looking good though.
Yes.
So yeah, I guess cooking is something, but I'm already 20 pounds heavier, Nate. So I need you to make me some gourmet water. Can you do that for me? Okay.
Screen live.
All right. So Sarita been watching movies.
Yeah.
Anything strange or unusual that y'all have been doing? Because this Corona thing, listen, we gotta do. If we don't do nothing else, everybody, we gotta learn how to laugh through this thing.
Right.
Because you know what, it's not going nowhere.
No.
And listen, I want to say, Lovely, if you're still on there, while we're trying to figure out ways to occupy ourselves, do you have any kind of professional advice for us coming right from the north in New York, where you guys have really been hit hard with this coronavirus?
Yeah.
Is there anything you can tell us that can possibly help us get through this thing, or be safer, or more protected? Any kind of advice, please chime in. Please give it to us. We want to hear it. All right? So we got move. Hi, Kathy. Kathy Pippa is watching. Hi, Kathy. I love you, Kathy. Kathy took care of my mom at the nursing home, at the rehab center. I'm telling you, she's my hero. I owe you some Newburgh lunch, hot dogs, Kathy. All right. So we got some very, very impressive and well-qualified medical personnel that are on the Tammy Talk Show tonight. Please give us your comments.
Jessica Adams said, "I'm going out and living my everyday life. I have one life to live, and I'm going to enjoy it." And
Yes.
put the little emoji like this.
Yes.
And then she said, "What virus?"
I like that. Yes, yes. Because it do box you in. I know the first few weeks when we was in the house, I was really going stir crazy. I didn't know what to do. It was just like you can't go out, and you're afraid to go out. And then when you go out, you come in feeling like you're nasty and dirty. Like, what's on me? Is anything on me? Washing your hands. I washed my hands so much I had my nails on. And them nails usually hard to come out. I washed the nails off. I didn't even have to soak them in anything. So it was just such a scary time, and you can't find anything to do. And you run out of things to do.
Okay.
So we want to hear your suggestions and some of the things that you're thinking about. I like what you said, Jessica. Beautiful, yes.
All right. So we got a couple things here I want to say. Anthony Williams says he brought a lot of inside, outside games and a couple of pools. Pools? But you didn't invite me to the pool. And I still do schoolwork with my kids. Very good. Kathy says wear your mask. And I like this one. This is good. Be respectful of your space. That's the biggest thing. Man, thank you, Kathy. That is so relevant. Just be respectful of my stuff. Okay, so we got Lovely Barksdale on the line. She's live.
Yes.
Hey, Lovely.
Hello. We're so glad to hear from you all. Okay, come on, give us some information. Come on, Lovely.
Hey, man, she said she's seen too many deaths in the nursing home. That is very understandable, Kathy. Thank you. Thank you. Talk to us, Lovely.
Hi, family.
Hey. What you doing?
We just sitting out here in the sun up here in New York.
Okay, so what's the New York vibe with Corona as it stands today?
Our numbers are declining in New York, so our governor did something very, very right.
Good.
What he did was he shut a lot of things down, and we really wore our masks, and we kept 6 feet apart. We did our distancing, and we did our isolating.
Yes.
Okay.
It went through New York really, really bad. In New York City more so than upstate New York. So, there was a lot of deaths here, and I think if a lot of the states kind of model what we did in New York, I think they wouldn't have had as much trouble as they're having right now, because gradually opening, not immediately opening, and some of the things that our president
Yeah.
And we were very terrified for other states because we knew that the virus was on its way. You know, also right now, we're still distancing ourselves here because we know it works.
Right.
Cool. All right. That's what I'm talking about.
We're in a tri-state, so New Jersey, Connecticut, and New York, we've all been working really well together because that's how we're trying to contain it, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Smart.
Yeah. Very good. You know?
That's very vital.
Definitely declining because we had a lot of deaths in New York, a lot of personal deaths, and that's what I think was really the scariest part is that we knew what was happening and the rest of the world wasn't. They weren't directly being affected, so people weren't taking it as serious as it was. But here, we were suffering on a personal level, you know?
Yeah.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. And I have one of my good girlfriends here, Miss Sharon Brown.
Sharon!
Sharon with me, and you know, Sharon had gotten sick, so I'm gonna let her share her own experience. Yes, we're gonna share.
Come on, Sharon. Listen, everybody needs to know. We need all the help and experience we can get.
That's right.
Yeah, and I was scared as a nurse because that's my friend, you know, and when she called me, I think she was a little scared. So I'm gonna let her take it from here.
I love it.
Yeah.
Hey, Kurt, I see you, son.
Oh, hello, family.
Hey, Sharon.
Come on, share with us.
So, I'll back up. So, you know, I'm not a nurse, but I do.
Yes, you work in the medical field, yes.
Yeah. And so, before it really hit, probably back in March, my doctors in the office, were extremely nervous. And they would leave the hospital and come to the office, gowned up, mask, gloves, everything. And they were like, no, everyone in the office needs to do the same to protect ourselves because it was so new and no one knew anything about it.
Right.
So we're like, okay. And then one day I told the staff, I said, I'm leaving early. My asthma is acting up. And I just need to go home and rest. So I left. And then later on that night, I still couldn't get my asthma under control. And then I had told my husband, I said, well, take me to the hospital. He was like, really? I was like, yeah, take me to the hospital.
Yeah.
So we went to the hospital, and at this time here in Newburgh, no one, or even in New York, you just didn't want to go to the hospital because it was just rampant.
Right.
But I went, and then I'm sitting in the room, so I did get a little nervous, so I did text my dear lovely. For me, at some point, I forgot when Reverend Stewart. I know I sent you a text message too.
You did.
And so anyway, I just said, you know, since my asthma flaring up, you know, they gave me some medicine, told me to follow up with my doctor. Make this long story short. So I did the next day with the Zoom meeting, and you know, she put me on antibiotics, blah 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 blah. By the end of the week, this was like on a Monday. By the end of the week, I still wasn't feeling well. So I said, well, let me go get tested because we can do testing at my job.
Okay.
So I go get tested, and I'm negative. I said, okay, praise Jesus. That's good.
Yes.
You know, I'm still trying to deal with my asthma, though. I still wasn't 100% better. So no problem. I go back to work, and maybe another 2 weeks later, Lovely was checking on me every other day.
That's good.
About 2 weeks later, my job did the antibody testing. So I said, let me go do that because I'm curious. So I go do that, and that was a positive.
Oh, wow.
So exactly.
Wow.
So then that tells me my negative was a
False.
false.
Wow. Did y'all hold that thought? Did you guys just hear that? I don't know if you guys heard that. She went to test for COVID-19. The results came back as a negative.
Right.
Later on, she went to do the antibody, and it was a positive, which proved that her COVID-19 test was a false negative.
Right.
So that is very important, you all. Very important. Okay, go ahead, Sharon.
Yeah, and so, and that, like, alarmed me. I thought I was going to have a meltdown at work because
Yeah.
when my doctor came to me saying, okay, did you get the result back? And I said, yeah, positive. He was like, so then you were exposed to it. And for the life of me, you know, it's hard to trace. You can't trace
Yes.
necessarily where you came in contact with it. You know, there's so many theories about droplets in the air, how long it stays in the air, and what you touch. And, you know, me being an asthmatic, I knew that I should be careful, but I'm telling you, my asthma is more exercise-induced, things like that. I've never had to really, you know, take medicine for my asthma. So to think that at some point I was exposed to it somehow, it kind of actually scared me. And that's what people don't really understand, that they think that just because you have to show symptoms, there's people carrying the virus and they're asymptomatic.
Yes.
Wow.
There's no sign whatsoever, and then you pass it to your family, friends, a stranger, what have you, and that's how this continues to grow. People just think that I don't have any symptoms, so I'm fine.
Right.
You know, I have to be a diabetic or asthmatic, or I got to be 70 or 80. No, there's more to it than just
That's
that.
right.
Wow.
That's right. Wow.
Oh,
So how you
wow.
doing now?
Oh, and you know what? I tell you, just about every day I tell God, thank you for healing me, because I knew, like, there's a difference in my breathing now than it was before. That's why I knew something was wrong, but I'm like, you know, I couldn't have the virus, but at some point I obviously was exposed to it.
Yeah.
So I've been feeling fine for
Good.
just the last month and a half.
Good.
Which is really a blessing. And Lovely wants the microphone back now.
All right. Hold that thought, Lovely. I want to get this out before you say something. I got some more comments here.
Right. Okay.
But stay on the line.
We are.
Okay, so this is real important. This is something that Kathy sent in, and she's over at Wingate. So she was saying, and this is really huge, y'all.
Wow.
Reach out to the residents in the nursing homes. They're cut off from those people they love. You can be a pen pal. They love getting mail. Find someone.
Right.
Find someone that you can, or someone who knows someone, and reach out to these people. Because I got to tell you real quick, you know, I'm a different kind of son. Like, I went to that nursing home every day, to the rehab, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. And listen, there were not many people coming to see their loved ones. I became probably everybody's son that I ran into, that I actually met. And then I kind of felt like, well, I need to speak to all these people.
Right.
But it's sad that not many families come to visit their loved ones, and especially now where you can't.
Right.
Send them something, give them a call, do something, reach out, even if you don't know them. Call up your local rehab or nursing home. Find out if they'll allow you to write to some people or do some blanket letters or something, just to encourage some people. That's really important.
Yes, it is.
She also was saying that they knew what was happening and couldn't get it under control. She's up there with y'all, Lovely, and she said you couldn't get it under control at the height of the virus, and that was very scary.
Right.
And so, you know, here we have what everybody's basically saying, from Kathy to Lovely to Sharon. You got to definitely not dumb this down, even though it's been going on for a while.
Right.
You've got to continue to do the social distancing, to be respectful of your space, to keep your mask on. I'm not going to lie, that's a hard one for me. I do understand it.
Yeah.
I do understand it, you know, on a different level. You know, when those bells went off in Iraq that they told us there was gas in the air, you know, we got those masks on real quick, and we didn't care if it was 100-degree weather. We weren't taking no mask off.
Right.
Because we wanted to survive. Well, guess what? This is the same thing. There's still death involved in coronavirus. So
yes, it is.
you can't lower your standard with this until we know as a country, as a world, that this thing is kind of dissipated. All right, lovely, talk to us.
Oh, you already took care of what I wanted to talk about, the nursing home, because our Governor Cuomo had shut the nursing homes down, and I have a mother who is in one of the nursing homes, and I was going to say, I saw somebody wrote about it, to make sure that you reach out to the people in the nursing home, because we're not able to go in and see them. I'm speaking to my mom from the window, sending packages in the mail and stuff, because they won't accept anything from you. You can't hand anything into the nursing home.
Right.
Yeah, wow. I know that's tough. I know that's tough for you.
I just said it when I cried.
Right.
Oh,
I know
lovely.
you did.
We love you here in New York. So we're gonna sign out.
We love you all too.
All right. God bless y'all.
Thank you
All
for
right.
calling.
Love you.
Love you.
Yeah, lady said about the mask. Yeah, you know what
Yes.
you know about that mask, Sarge. That mask became your best friend.
Yes.
So let me tell you, if this thing gets worse, I might have to go ahead to the Army surplus and get me some real masks.
And Sharita said, Mom Crawford said, everyone should get tested and get, antibiotic test, get that test.
So yeah, if you're able to get out and get tested and get the antibody test, it's not going to hurt. Listen, none of this stuff is going to hurt you to get tested. It can only help, or it can only educate you on where you are, what your status is.
Right.
Because let me tell you something, asymptomatic people, they have no clue. I mean, come on. That's like carbon dioxide. You can't smell it, you can't taste it, you can't see it. It's there, and it will kill you.
Yes, it will.
So this is the same thing. We got to start looking at it for what it's worth. It just pains me to see what was going on with Trump and his speech during the weekend. This is not a. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take over.
Go ahead.
This is not a political issue, and I wish this man was at least big enough to see that.
Right.
This coronavirus has got nothing to do with politics, and they're trying to make it politics so bad.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, we know at the top of the chain it has to do with politics and money. We talked about that last week. But let's be real. You know, not for nothing, being a military guy, Nate, if you're listening, you understand this. You can literally be used as a pawn when you're a soldier. See, because the people at top are just making moves with conversation. We down on the ground firing bullets. And our lives are in the balance with all of this thing. While the generals and everybody else, it's not like the movies. The generals ain't out there on the front line next to me firing nothing. They're sitting in a controlled room in a tactical environment making deals like it's a chessboard. Make no mistake. So this is the same thing I feel, and it's just my opinion, that's going on with our leaders up top. Right. You know, they're trying to wheel and deal and see who's going to get the most money off of whatever vaccine when it's coming out. I feel like they already got one, but that's another topic. Nevertheless, at the ground level, where the rubber meets the road are all of us. And we're the pawns here. Right. And, you know, to play these political moves with all these people being exposed, that is just so ignorant. Yes, I said it. That is ignorant. If they want to take us off the Tammy Talk Show, okay, well, I'm sorry. But come on, this is not a political thing
But
here.
it's for real. This is real. These are real people lives. Families being affected by this. They're losing loved ones, and it's something they can't prevent from happening. And then the families are in the hospital dying alone, by themselves, suffering in silence by themselves. So the ones that are home are upset, you know, can't get to the mother, can't get to the father, the wife, or the children, because this virus don't have no particular color, no race, no age, nobody who it affects. It infects anybody. So this thing can be very effective to our nation, and it's time for the people up top to see that we're down here is being affected. You know, even in Georgia, how, like I said, they open up Georgia so soon. Now it is running rapid around Georgia, and they giving us false numbers because I know they're not giving us real numbers as to what happened. And we don't want the false numbers. We want to know what's really happening, what's really going on.
Right.
But they're going to keep some things from us. And while they're keeping some things from us, we got to be smart enough to take care of ourselves and to take care of our loved ones. That's the thing I want to raise up. That's
Right.
what I was holding on the inside of me. Now I got it out. Now somebody else can talk.
Yeah, Kathy said real quick just what you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
It says the virus does not know political standing, ethnicity, age, or financial class.
Right.
Please respect this virus.
Right.
And that's real. Crystal Payne. Hey, Crystal!
Hello.
People are not respecting this virus here in Florida. It is out of control, and people are still socializing, not wearing masks. That's crazy.
Yes.
That is crazy.
You don't have to respect this this virus, but this virus gonna make you come to respect it, because a lot of people are dying and a lot of people getting infected. You know, you got to respect it, like y'all saying earlier. Respect my distancing. Stay away from me, because certain people, when I even go in a certain area where I have to go in the morning, they'll come and step up on you and start talking to you. I'm like, back up. You in my space.
Yeah.
You are too close to me. I got my mask on, but I'm going to take that thing off when I get home and wash it. So we got to be careful out here. This is a deadly thing, and we got to know that we don't know where it came from, but it's here.
Right.
And now that it's here, we got to make sure we be careful. Okay, Anthony.
Yes, I have a question for the nurses on the page. I'm asthmatic as well, as Miss Sharon said she was, but I have a different type. Mine's flare up at any moment. I have it really bad. So, God forbid, if Corona comes this way, when should I go to the hospital? Should I go immediately when I feel bad, or should I wait 14 days like the other people?
Good question.
Yeah.
Did y'all catch that? Somebody chime in. Call back up if you have to.
Yes.
Let's see if we can get an answer to that question.
Right.
When should an asthmatic see the doctor? At what stage? At what level? How bad or how not bad does it have to be for them to stay in 14 days, or should they immediately go to the doctor? All right.
Because even a lot of times when you go to the doctor, you're asthmatic, they want to say, well, I don't hear anything. I don't, you're breathing. I hear nothing wrong.
Breathing fine.
Yeah, you're breathing fine and everything, but when would be a perfect time? But as personally, I would say when you start feeling uncomfortable, you just need to go. But from a nurse point of view.
Okay, so Jessica says I would go to my primary care doctor ASAP. So,
Yes,
call
okay.
your primary care. They should be still doing some type of walk-in.
Okay.
I'm thinking, or call in or something. Yeah.
One thing I did research on when it came down to a virus such as like HIV, of course this coronavirus, they said it has an incubation period of 14 days. And HIV usually would have one of about 10 years before it becomes AIDS. But people who have contracted like HIV, through whatever happened or whichever situation they got it, some people had like the flu or symptoms of the flu, or like some type of like flu the next, like the same week or like the day after.
Yeah.
So like their body kind of like, hey, something just hit us and we're trying to figure out and fight it and figure out what it is, but we can't yet. So like I would think that in some cases with people with asthma, their body might react the moment they get it, kind of like with Miss Sharon. Her body might have reacted when she kind of like encountered it. It may not have waited 14 days, but it could have. But that's an option.
Right. What was something you were saying that someone had put?
Oh yes. Crystal was saying, and they still are wanting for the RNC to come here to Jacksonville. The governor and the mayor are all in denial.
And that's another thing. I've heard all the political people at the top, not all of them, but most of them, sounding like they're in denial.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know something is going on in your city and in your state, but you're in denial. And just be honest, the reason why you're in denial, because you want everything to stay open so the money can keep flowing in there. So they're putting the money over the matter of life. And so it's not really that they're thinking about you or you being taken care of or your health being good. You got to think about your health. You got to do what's best for you, because they're doing what's best for them in the political world.
Right.
Yes. That's all I got to say.
Anybody else? Tomorrow's? I got some more here.
Go ahead.
Got anything? All right. Yeah, nothing wrong with, and Lovely co-signed on that with Jessica. Nothing wrong with calling your primary care doctor. Stay out of the ER, Jessica says, unless you cannot breathe.
Okay. Right.
Good point. Good point, Nate.
point.
Let me bring this out. The first thing we were taught, absolutely, in a chemical environment was to immediately don mop. And what that means is we put on what you see people walking around in a white hazmat suit. We were taught to put that on. We had so many seconds to put that entire suit on. And why don't they teach? Why didn't our government stop, drop, and roll as they teach soldiers? We need Christian leaders in charge that will listen to the Holy Spirit. That's a good one. That's right.
All right.
That's right, because they're not listening.
One thing that caught me by surprise or struck me as weird. Okay, to me, I've always viewed the CDC as like the medical SWAT team of the world. Like whenever something bad happened or like some kind of disease was about to outbreak, the CDC was on top of that like white on rice.
Right.
They had tents and everything set up. They went to whatever country it was, and they did testing. People who had it, they put them in tents and tried to treat them as best they could.
Yeah.
So it baffles me as to how when COVID happened, the CDC kind of dropped the ball. Like, I'm pretty sure all those people didn't retire after Ebola happened. And I don't know how many years ago that Ebola was,
Right,
but I'm pretty sure all those people who were that good at making sure Ebola didn't infect the U.S. and like wipe us all out,
Right.
you know, I'm pretty sure those people didn't just retire, and then like there was nobody professional enough to be able to handle this disease. And I'm sure they trained the people to be professional enough to be able to hand that stuff. Yeah, that was coming behind them. So you can't just like somebody like me that's not professionally trained cannot just go join the CDC. They're just not gonna let that happen.
Right.
Like no matter how much I know, if I don't have a license or if I don't have whatever credentials I need to join the CDC, they're not gonna let me do it.
Right.
So there's no way in the world that these people who are a part of the CDC didn't know how to handle the situation. That behooves me. That makes me real uncomfortable.
Yes. That's true. That is so true. And how we know, you know, in the back crust of it all, it is really the political people that are at the top won't let them do what they need to do because they might have a hidden agenda why everybody is catching this and why this disease is here. So I'm going to say it once again. You got to protect yourself and you got to walk the lines that you know what you need to do to protect yourself and your family. Okay? Anthony? Okay, go ahead, Teresa.
Okay, well, my major concern
Yeah.
with this whole situation is I go back to work July 31st. I work at a school, and I work at an elementary school. We have like 800, 900 students.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're going to work that out. I don't know. They're telling us different stuff. I really don't know exactly what we're supposed to be doing yet, but it's just all like, I don't think it would make sense for all of us to be in there on top of each other with 900 kids.
Yeah.
50-something teachers. I just think that's an awful idea. So I don't know what they're going to do. I'm concerned for the children.
Yes.
I'm concerned for maybe if their parents had it and they're coming to us and then they're spreading it. Like, they could probably be asymptomatic because they act like children don't get it as much. But what if they're the asymptomatic people and they're bringing it to all of us and we're bringing it home?
Because
So I just think we got to think that whole educational thing out. So hopefully they'll be sending something soon to let us know what we're going to do. Because I'm really not comfortable going back to work, but I will go because I need the check. So,
but that is scary because they really don't have an answer. but they know that the kids need to be educated and they need to go back to
And
school.
they're not saying anything.
Yes.
Like, they're not giving enough information on what
And
we're going to do.
I want to know, how do the parents feel now that it's getting closer to time for your kids to go back to school? How do you feel that your kids being in that environment, and especially with your children being young kids, most young kids, and they saying wear a mask and they got to sit behind
They're not
this
going to do that.
this plexiglass, and how are they going to be able to sit there and keep the mask on their face? And then if the kids take the mask off, and somehow the child go home and a few days later they have the coronavirus,
And that means
are the
everybody gotta
teacher
go on
going to be?
quarantine,
No,
like,
but are
we
the
gotta
teacher
be
going to be
notified.
accused of not making the child keep the mask on or something? It's a whole lot across that board that they're really going to have to look at, because there are going to be so many things that you're going to have to deal with, and so much you're going to have to do. You're going to have to constantly wipe things down and all that.
And also, as a teacher, our best practices in teaching our students is we tell them they have to work in groups. So we can't put them in groups no longer. So the whole environment of the educational system has to be rewritten a little bit, because children learn through play, especially kindergarten, first grade, second grade.
Yes.
They learn through interacting and touching manipulatives, and we count with counters. How are we going to do all of that?
Right. The whole curriculum might have to have a whole overhaul. Yes, so they really need to think this through.
And is there anyone that's sitting at the table at the top in the form of the Board of Education that is trying to come up with a new curriculum and a new operating plan for how to continue to educate? We can't just stop educating the world because of Corona. We're going to have a huge gap in the level of intelligence and moving forward with more technology and information in our country, because there's a gap within a year of learning because of Corona. I mean, this thing is so much bigger than what everybody's even thinking about. It just doesn't make any sense.
And we got to come up with some plans, and we can't just have the government telling us to get back to it, just get back to as normal, because there's not no normal right now. Right now, we living in the new normal, and this is our new normal, and it's going to be kind of, parents going to be afraid to send their kids off to school nowadays. And when the kids come home, the parents might have to strip them down, wash them down, and take the shoes, and probably some of the shoes, throw them away. You know, you don't know. So they need to really, really think this thing through and make sure that it don't grow even more.
Yeah, we have, some classrooms have bathrooms, but that teacher gonna have to stop in the middle of the class after their child leaves out and clean it, or what? Like, what are we supposed to do? And then we have so many classes on our hallway, and we have one set of bathrooms. We gotta wait to go to the bathroom at a certain time. We can't control children's bladders, none of that. So I just think of all that kind of stuff, and I'm just like, it sounds like unorganized chaos to me.
Yes, that's what it really is. Unorganized chaos. That's saying it. And what was this that Lovely said right here?
Where we at?
Right here.
Okay, yes, she's saying there's so many unanswered questions right there. COVID-19, they really don't have the answers. They don't have a lot of the answers, and it's sad that the news is just putting something on the news just to have something on the news. That is the wrong answer. And let me chime in with this one too. There is a clause in the Constitution. I'm going right back to the CDC. For those of you that didn't know, and I need to really pull up, even though I'm talking about it on the fly, I'll try to get that information back to you. There's a clause in the Constitution that talks about when there's any type of crisis, any kind of state of emergency, which at one point the president was calling this a state of emergency, that at that moment FEMA takes over.
Yeah.
So now we have no idea what the conversations are between FEMA, the president, all of the people that work under the president, and the CDC.
Right.
So who knows what FEMA is, what strings they're pulling, because if in fact this was an actual considered state of emergency called by the president, guess what? He no longer has the authority. FEMA takes over. there's a clause. It's there. I read it. I got to pull it back up again. So we don't even hear FEMA on the television anymore.
No,
So
you don't.
we have no clue what's going on here. And this is really sad. And it gets right back down to the brass tacks of if you don't take care of yourself,
Right.
you're going to be in a world of hurt. That's just my belief. That you've just got to be able to continue to take care of yourself. Don't take down. Don't get exhausted. I know it's tiring. I know it's hurtful. I know it's got you going crazy. There's levels of anxiety and everything else going on. But you got to maintain your standard.
Right.
You gotta think about this like soldiers. You know, it's like the military, and maybe I'm partial to the military, but you know, there's some things that they taught us in the military. Whether we liked it or not, this is what it is, and you better train your mind to learn how to do what needs to be done so you can survive. And this is really getting to that point, I believe, because we've got to condition our minds to not drop that standard, to continue. I don't care how many times you got to wash your hands, how many times you got to put the mask on, how many, and listen, it's hard for me too. But when I get to a place where I really feel like I got to protect myself, then that's what I do.
Right.
So, listen, we're praying for the country.
Yes.
We're praying for our world. I mean, this is like, we're just walking blind here, honestly.
Nate says call the
Stanford Act.
I knew you was going to know. I was waiting for that to come up. The Stanford Act. Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
That's the walking TM. For those of you that aren't military, you don't know what that is. That's the walking training manual right there, Mr. Crawford.
Yes.
Thank you, Nate.
That's Sharita's brother. Yes.
Yes, but you know, that's the case. So don't listen. Think it not strange that the president is up there biblically battling with just stuff that he's making up in his head, because he really ain't running nothing either. And then he just getting aggravated with firing folk because they ain't doing what he say do. And somebody's probably got their foot on his neck in the form of FEMA. So that's probably why the CDC is trying to play dumb, like they have no clue what's going on.
Right.
We all know better than that, too.
Yeah, come on. That's
And
the
Anthony
nervous
Williams
selection of the
said with his kids, he signed up for the remote.
So they'll learn online.
So they'll
Yes.
learn online.
And Kurt said that as well.
Yes.
That's my other son. Y'all know he's not at the
Right.
table. But he said the same thing. As a matter of fact, I was talking to him the other day, and he said that's what he was going to do.
Right.
So
those of you
Still
parents,
hurts
you
the
don't,
interaction.
you're afraid for that, for your kids to go to school, sign up for that. And I really think that people need to pay attention to that until this virus is under control or it's gone away. Like the president said, it came and it's going to go away. But it's still here.
Yeah.
So we got to try to make sure we maintain ourselves and keep everybody that we love protected. So I just want to just encourage you to keep yourself protected and be looking out for your loved ones. You know, there is, oh, I see Karima. Hi, Karima.
Hey, Karima.
There's another nurse. Another nursing came on. So I know at the beginning of it, different people was getting sick and nurses was getting sick and everything, but we thank God for our frontline workers.
Yes.
Yes.
We thank God for you all,
Y'all are the
because
real
y'all
soldiers.
you all was right there in the middle of the fire. And then in the midst of the fire, I just got to throw this in there. You know, I just got to throw this in there. In the midst of the fire, God did you all just like He did the 3 Hebrew boys. Every nurse, every doctor, He stood right there in the midst of it with you all. So I'm glad for that. The frontline workers, y'all was protected. And we thank you all for doing this for us. You know, because you all didn't know what y'all was hit with, but you stood strong. And you went to work every day. And you had compassion on the people. You had compassion on the people, loved ones that couldn't be there. You all would give them conversations and allow them to talk to their parents,
Yes.
the husbands, the wife. You would hold the phone so they could talk with them, so they wouldn't feel like they was just so cut off from the world. We thank God for you all, and we thank you all for doing that front line from the depths of your heart. Because being a nurse or a doctor, that got to be a gift that you really love, especially working through this hard time. It's got to be good.
Yeah.
And I thank you all. I know everybody at this table, my children, we thank you all. I know the listeners, the people that are listening, they thank you all. I thank you for tuning in. So do we have another question?
I don't know. Do you guys see
You have a
another
statement?
question? I do know that. I want to say real quick, thank you, Carmen. I see Carmen is watching.
Okay.
Carmen works at St. Luke's, and she has been instrumental with any time I had someone in the hospital.
Yes.
She made sure she got to them. My uncle was there. You know, she chimed in with her phone. I got the look in his face.
Yes.
And Carmen, we appreciate you. We love
Yes.
you. We know that you just recently lost your uncle. We're praying for you
We're praying
and
for the
your
family.
family and the
We
King
love you
family.
all.
For those of
Yes.
you that know Sister King, she was a staple in Newburgh. We're praying for her.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to shout you out because I didn't want you to. I didn't want to miss this opportunity
Right.
that you were doing some of the examples that we were talking about,
Yes.
and I'm sure
Keeping
the
us
other
in touch
ones as
with the
well
people.
that we know. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you over.
Jessica got something here.
She said it's all on the backs of the local government.
Okay.
Yes.
And she just said something else too.
Your strongest voice is within your local government.
Yes.
Contact
Yes.
them and your state officials, which you
Right.
can. You have the
Right.
right to do it. You have the right to call your
Yes.
senator, any representative of
Right.
this state. You have the right to call them. On
Yes.
the phone.
So, do any of the nurses have anything
Yeah.
else you would like to share with us and tell us what we need to do?
Lovely is saying, continue to trust God, wash your hands, keep your body, your environment clean, sanitize, wear your mask, and continue to social distance.
Yes.
Sanitizing, that's important. Washing your hands,
Yes, it is.
sanitizing, two different things.
Right.
Sanitizing is the next level,
Right.
so we got to make sure we're doing that as well.
Wash your hand with soap. Don't just wash your hand with water. Use soap.
I got
Yes.
a question for my son at the end tomorrow.
Yeah.
He's in facilities management in the Houston County District,
Yeah.
School District. Is there anything that they've been telling you all different as far as Corona? Because he's been going to work, so pray for him. He's still going through the schools and taking
Cleaning up
care
the
of those
schools.
things and
Yes.
keeping them sanitized and going through all that. So have they given you anything different?
The only thing that they have us doing now is we literally have to spray every classroom if anyone walks in the building. They have we have a sanitizer that cleans the whole school, sanitize everything down, keep everything clean, keep Corona away. They check anybody that comes in the building gets checked for a fever or anything like that. Everything is documented. So basically, anytime somebody comes in, we just have to make sure we sanitize. We literally have to sanitize the whole building, even if they just come in and go to the office.
Wow.
I stay on the 4th and 5th grade hall, but I still have to. If they come in the front office that's in the middle of the hall, I still have to make sure I spray my whole hallway down, every classroom. We have a new system set up for the teachers. They can't go in their classroom unless we have a new green. It's like a red, yellow, green card. If it's not on green, the teacher can't go in their classroom until it's flipped on green. Once it's on red, that lets us know that they've been in the classroom and they left out. And if it's on yellow, that means that they're in the classroom. So we just have to make sure we keep everything sprayed down, clean, wiped down.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's good.
That's real good.
That's
So
good.
now, did you catch that? Now
that
that
got
is
me right there.
yeah.
When you just said that.
That's real good that Houston County is doing. Now I don't see how you can get any more thorough than that. But here's the scary part. There's nobody in the school yet.
Right.
So if he's sanitizing like that
right.
with no kids,
How are we gonna
how in
know
the
they're
world are they going to keep up with the sanitization process
there?
when the kids are there? If one teacher comes in the school, he's got to disinfect and sanitize the entire hallway.
All day long.
They
So
can't
this is almost like madness,
Our
y'all.
principal,
Yes, it
she's
is.
saying that she doesn't think that we'll make it past the first month. She's like, look, we'll probably have to close school down
Wow.
again, because she's like, it's spiking already. And Warner Robins is already bad because one of our Air Force bases there.
Okay,
Yeah.
Air Force
And
Base.
we're like 7 minutes from the Air Force base. And most of our children that come to the school are children of parents that work at the Air Force base.
Yeah.
So she's like, we probably won't be open probably but a month, and then they're going to close the school again.
Wow. Wow.
This
It's
is
a waste of
ridiculous.
resources.
We've
Um,
never seen it.
It's
So
sad
can we-
because it's a lack of planning. on everybody's part, to be honest. And it's like Jessica was saying, it's got to go to the local government to like be responsible and kind of like pick up the ball, because it's not. I don't find it strange that the federal government is not doing what's necessary to help like this country recover. Like there was a video on Facebook where like multiple countries were like just going down the street. I don't know if they had pressure washing systems and they had hazmat suits, but that's what it looked like. They had like big hazmat type suits, and it seemed like they had pressure washers on the back of like their trucks and stuff. People were going up and down the streets and like spraying the streets with soap and stuff, like and all on like Ukraine and Turkey and like a whole bunch of other different countries. And they were taking the extra steps necessary in order to do that. Now, if that's what needs to happen on a local level, you know, if you're one of those people who advocates for voting, be one of those people that advocates for let's clean this up. So that we can say,
local level.
Like call your representatives, call whoever you need to call to make change. It bug them like you normally do if you're one of those people that kind of just looks around in the neighborhood and like, oh, I don't like how you know, they left their trash over there on the curb. They kind of need to move that back because you know they already took the trash out. If you're one of those people, make that phone call. Please, we appreciate you for making that phone call. Please make that phone call. If you're a candidate, make the phone call.
I got two things. The first thing is, just like you said about the cleaning up the streets, they did it over in the other countries. America's supposed to be this great country. Why don't we think of that? Why are we not doing that? Because I mean, they're doing it, and we're supposed to be the superior or the good country, as they say. You know, why didn't we do that? Why didn't we think of that? Are we just thinking of money? Like, you clean up the streets, get us back out there, clean it up, get everything good, and they just feel safe and get back out there.
Absolutely.
And then the other thing I want to say is, I remember one time a couple years ago, I keep a mask with me usually anyways, because, you know, I said I have bad asthma, anything can trigger it, smells, cigarette smells. One while there was a bunch of fires going on around down south. So I put my mask on because I didn't want to smell that and trigger my asthma. So one of the guys said, "Oh my God, you're sick," and he stepped away from me. I was like, "No, I'm just trying to keep myself protected from that." So can we treat this like the person that you see is sick? You know, and step away from them. Just think about it. Oh, that person got it. So let me step back or let me step away. Just act like the person has the corona, or you know, even with the flu. When somebody say you had the flu, I'm gonna stay away from you. This is worse than the flu. So can we treat it like the person's actually sick and step away? You know, we all know that, you know, we're not being rude, but we're being safe for ourselves.
So you can't get upset if somebody asks you, "Hey, can you move back a little bit?" Because I was in the store one day, I had my mask on and everything on, and like this family, like they had the lines there, but this family was like the little girl kept moving up, the dad was like right behind me, and like I kept looking like, if I say something, I don't know if we're going to fight or what's going to happen. But at this point, my health is very important, so I might have to knock you down. Like, I'm looking like, back up. Because they were really like literally on my back. And I'm just like, can y'all back up some? So I was like, you know, I tried to say it politely. Hey, could you guys move back a little bit? I think that's your line right there. So then they did move back and apologize, but I don't feel like I should have had to tell you that.
If
you know, it's like
on numerous occasions, I have had to tell people to step back. Well, my family knows that I voice myself out loud. I can't whisper much. So if you're standing too close and I see you over my shoulder, excuse me, ma'am. Thank you. 6 feet. I'm gonna cough on you. Get back.
And that's the best. You got to remain. You got to be respectful of people's space. Be respectful. What else did Karima say on here?
She says, don't get. She was piggybacking on what Lovely was saying. Don't get too comfortable. That's huge. Keep doing what you've been instructed. People get a bit relaxed. Good point. And that's wrong. That's the wrong thing to do. We all have to keep acting like everyone is infected. Don't touch me. Don't shake my hand. And yes, you better have a mask on in my presence. Yes, that's huge. This is our new norm until it's not. And this is what, if the news can't say nothing else, this is what they should be saying. This is our new norm until it's not. Jessica says this. She brought out a good point. So let's look at it like this. Jaleesa's saying they're going back to school. on the 31st, more than likely.
Teachers.
The teachers.
Students start
Okay.
August 10th.
Students start August 10th. So let's take that model. Usually in the South, they start sooner than everywhere else.
Right.
Because that's occurring, Jessica brought up some good points.
Yes.
Provide your schools with Clorox wipes, hand sanitizer,
Yes.
soap, without giving them grief about how much it costs. Now,
Right.
let's be honest.
It's your
Yeah,
children. It's your
Y'all do
children.
that.
we go through the
That
whole
school list,
back
y'all
to
get
school
that
list.
up.
That list is gonna say
We need that.
30 things, and all 30 of those things are probably gonna say Clorox.
Yeah. we need that.
So, you know, let's do that.
Start buying it now. Stack
This
it up
is
on the list.
this is so. And let me come down a little bit and say it this way with a little more compassion.
Yeah.
If ever the world needed to be together as a people, it is now.
It is now.
Because at the end of the day, our children are involved, and they are our future.
That's right.
And you know, if you can put out more for these schools to help with supplies, we already know. I mean, let's be. We went through it with all 4 of our kids, buying school supplies, and that's almost like Christmas. Going in there before school starts, you're running through the store getting stuff like it's Christmas time. You're spending a lot of money, but you know what? This is the time to put that extra dollar in there. This is the time to help some other family who's less fortunate, because now there is a serious virus out there, and it is killing people.
Right.
Yes.
And as a teacher, what parents don't buy, the teacher comes out of their own pocket to purchase.
Wow.
So a lot of times our classrooms are decorated or funded or they look amazing. We pay for all that stuff. We don't get a stipend. We don't get extra money at the beginning of the year to go shopping. We pay for all the stuff that goes in our classrooms. So I'm starting now buying a bunch of sanitizer.
Cause what's happening?
Every time I see it. So I know I'm going to have a big box full of everything I need when I go there, just in case my students don't come with everything. But please, if you don't, I'll have the pencils and I'll have the paper. If you could just buy the Clorox, the wipes, all that kind of stuff, I'll have all the stationery stuff if I have to, so that they can just make sure they bring that type of stuff in.
Right.
Jeanette Clark says people have been non-compliant because the leaders are not showing an example.
Right.
And they need to wear masks as well.
Yes,
You know,
they do.
and that's a good point.
But you know why they're not? 'Cause they're not wearing it because they don't want you to wear it because they want it to spread.
It's sad that you have to, and I don't. It's sad that I have to say this about our president, Jeanette. But you sometime with people you have to consider the source. So they're not being very good leaders right now. But we're gonna have to step up and be leaders ourselves.
Right. Yes.
Yes, I want to also, I'm glad they brought the leaders up. If anybody knows Governor Kermo, can you please send him this link here? Send him this Tammy Talk here.
Yes.
Down here in
Yeah, tell
Georgia.
them about that. Help us.
Please help us.
The reason why I said it is because I know a lot of the reasons that is opening back up.
Yeah.
And a lot of New York, Georgia. I'm sorry. Yeah, our governor here too as well. Send it to him too. Anyways, as I was saying, I know they want to open up because of money and get back into the system, get back into, getting the economy built back up. But if all of America's dead, then there's no money to be made. So we should make sure that you, as government people, should make sure that people's alive to get the money back in there. Because if we're all dead, if the majority of the United States dies because we're, trying to open back up fast, then where's the money coming from? Who's making the money? Who's spending the money?
Absolutely.
No one. Only person making money is you're gonna start taxing the coroners or the funeral homes a little bit more because that's where the money's gonna be made at.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're making a lot of money now. So can we think of lives and bodies instead of money only? Because if there's nobody to work there's nobody to do anything. If all the business is shut down because one person got corona, there's no money to be made. There's no money to put back into the system.
Right.
There's no cycle going on. So can we think of that first before we think of anything else? And they said, the leaders are not leading by example. Sometimes we have to show the leaders that we want to stay alive if we don't want to stay alive. We care about ourselves. If you may care about us, us, but you got to show a little bit more so we can think, okay, well, you're a good person. Because right now we don't think you're a good person because you're like, well, government this and economy that. you know, okay, let the economy go down for a little bit. If we shut down in the beginning,
Yeah.
before the economy got bad, the whole
We should have
everything
stayed
shut down.
We should have
We-
stayed.
and then it'd be
shut
good
down.
because we can
Recovery
boost back
right
up
now.
and we all
Right.
go back at the same time.
Right, right.
Good point. Good
And
point.
now I want to switch gears just for a little bit and ask this question. How do you feel about the direction you see that the United States is headed to? And the second part to that question is, what are some of your fears?
Okay, so I see my cousin is there at court. He's the president of hip hop. He's down in the Bronx, New York. He is definitely a advocate for what is right. Please, if you got a comment on this one, give us your thoughts. Very intelligent young man. I want to hear your thoughts, Court, if you're still on.
I'm going to ask that question again. How do you feel about the direction you see that the United States are headed to? And the second part to it is, what are some of your fears?
Well, I'd like to say that something I am glad that I am seeing is that people are standing up for what is right rather than what's comfortable. Like people are coming out of their comfort zones and speaking up for like the Black Lives Matter movement. People who are white, people who are Latino, people who are Asian, people who are not black are standing up for the Black Lives Matter movement. And some people may not be comfortable with that. Some people may be upset. But it makes me think about the American Revolution and how, like the Boston Tea Party, like some people say whenever you bring that up, I'm bringing it up out of context. But to be honest, I got some information from the History Channel where it says the tea was the most valuable commodity in the Western world in the 1770s. Decreased sales left the British East India Company with 17 million pounds of tea. So in order to compensate for that, they used the colonies as a bailout. They stopped using the colonies to export tea, and they did it for themselves directly. So what they did was like they sold tea to the colonists. The British sold tea to the colonists, and the colonists would come to the ports in Britain, get the tea, earn a little income, and then come back. So instead, so they could save money because for some reason, after the French and Indian War, they lost a lot of money, and they tried to get the money back. So they taxed. They used the Tea Act to do so, and what they did was they cut off the colonists and stopped allowing them to come to their ports and stuff to get the tea and then bring it back. So the colonists lost a part of their income. So the British were just going straight to the colonies and selling it that way and then coming back so that the colonists couldn't make any money. But like, the colonists were so upset about this because they got taxed for their tea, and they got taxed for lead, they got taxed for glass, they got taxed for paper, paint, like all the things that were necessary for them to like have that they needed, it got taxed, and it was too expensive. So like you had people like John Hancock and Samuel Adams smuggling tea as a product brought to them. So like they would like illegally sell the tea without it being taxed, and like they were the ones that were like no taxation without representation. So, like December 16th, 1773, the Americans boycotted tea. So imports sat on docks and spoiled. So like whenever this tea came in, the Americans didn't do anything with it. They just sat there and rotted and got old. So like Thomas Hutchinson ordered. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Oh, Thomas Hutchinson ordered that the colonists would buy the tea, and of course they didn't. But that same time when he was trying to do that, about 60 Bostonians, the Sons of Liberty is what they were called, boarded 3 British East Indian Company trading ships. And they dumped 342 chests of tea into the sea, or into the harbor. 90,000 pounds, or 45 tons, was how much was like cut out. And it took about 3 hours for them to actually do that. And today's world, it would be $1 million worth of stuff. So, another thing also, in March 1774, this is the second Boston Tea Party. 60 Bostonians boarded another ship, and they dumped nearly 30 chests. It wasn't very notable, and people don't really know that there was a second Boston Tea Party, but it encouraged tea dumping in Maryland, New York, and South Carolina. So I'm like referencing and bringing that back to like the Black Lives Matter movement, even though like all this stuff is going on and people are protesting and things like that,
Yeah.
it's because they understand the severity of the situations that African Americans are in. So they're standing up for it. And
Right.
it makes me think, like, when I see the second Boston Tea Party, how, like, the first one didn't really spark people to, like, stand up for themselves.
Right.
So it's kind of referencing how when other black people have died in the past, like with police killings and brutal killings by people who were civilians,
Yeah.
nobody really, like, stood up, or they, you know, they protested for a little while and it kind of died out. But with the second Boston Tea Party, people were inspired in other states to stand up for, or in other colonies, let's say that, to be historically accurate, to stand up for themselves. And to see that this was like the foundation in which, you know, America was built on, revolution against like their oppressor. It's kind of funny to see how people can be against the Black Lives Matter movement, or they can say something like, it's horrible that these people are rioting and tearing down statues and stuff. When it should be like, the first thing they should say is horrible that somebody died. It's horrible that somebody was killed.
Yes.
And it's sad that people have to make the effort of burning cars and destroying statues and stuff in order for the statement to be heard and for the statement to be made about how serious it is that somebody just died because of the color of their skin.
Right.
And even George Washington said, the cause of Boston ever will be considered the cause of America. So what they stood for, that revolution they stood for, is something worth admiring, and it's something that should be considered in America. So when we see it now, and while we're seeing it now, this is something that we need to appreciate and understand, that this is the revolution that needs to take place.
Right.
And if the government gets in check fast enough, we won't have to worry about destruction. We won't have to worry about people just toppling over monuments and stuff. Like, that stuff should be put in a place where it's historically contained, like a museum or something, so we know where our history went, where we've come from, who did what, you know, why they did what they did, and we can understand who was kind of like, you know, I guess I like that person, but this is some of the flaws they had. And at least it'll be in a place where we can, like, take a look at it and understand. Not in a place where people can see it when they go out in public or walk or just walk their dog and feel like, okay, we're still stuck, like, being oppressed like we were before. Years before.
Right. All right. Well, good. I'm so glad that he explained that to us, that, you know, we are going through a great shift right now in the country. And I just want people to be aware and pay attention to everything that is going on around us, even with the coronavirus and with the question that I just asked you, because our country is headed in a different direction and it's going in another direction, but we all want to be vigilant. We all want to pay attention, and we all want to show that we care and that we are listening and that we hear you. I thank you all tonight for tuning in and for listening to the show on tonight. I thank you all for all your questions. I thank you all for your comments.
All right,
I
Jalon,
thank
we
you
see
all
you.
for the things that you were saying. We love you
Jalen.
all.
Who's that?
We thank you for tuning in, and we thank you for just being interested in listening to the Tammy Talk Show. I thank you all for, you know, paying, you know, listening to my family. We're here today to share with you and just enlighten you on the things and some of the views that we think and we feel that is close to our heart. And I want you to know that you're close to my heart also. And I hope you enjoyed the show on today. Until Thursday, I'm going to have a great guest coming on Thursday. I will put the list out, the name out, and the different things that will be going on this month. I will put it all out as the days come along. So thank you for all listening and paying attention to the Tammy Talk Show. We love you dearly. I thank you much. Until next time, the Tammy Talk Show. Love you. See you later.
We'll see you next time.